According to the news this morning, Stephen Hawking is dead. He warned us about the problems of the singularity, meaning that when computers take on a personality and basically assume free will, they'll take over the world. And that might well happen. But I'm less worried about that than something else that I thought of. Back in 68 or 69, when I was in college, and there was still, this was a couple of years, maybe 3 years after the first successful heart transplant. Christian Barnard, South African doctor, had done a heart transplant, and I remember there was concern by people, who is this person with this new heart? Is he the person that owns the body, or the person that owns the heart? And we were just developing some pretty serious computing power according to the standards of the day, and now it wouldn't amount to anything. But we landed on the moon with a whole lot less computer power than cell phones have today. But anyway, I got to thinking about when it became possible for us to store personalities on computers. And what I mean by that is, if you have this parent or child even, or someone that you really care about, and you can program a computer to give that computer that personality and that stored knowledge of that loved one. And let's suppose that person was kind of drifting into senility or something else. I kind of foresee, and I think it's a realistic expectation now that it's going to happen, but I foresee the problem in that, suppose your loved one is slipping away, but you have this personality and knowledge, and at least in your mind the wisdom stored on a computer or some sort of a zip drive or something, so you can actually sit down and converse with your loved one as they are frozen in time from the time the personality was stored, about the challenges of the loved one who is fading out. So that creates this problem. We will be more prone to neglect our family and our friends, and when someone like that becomes inconvenient, you know, there are, I don't know the number, but a vast number of unwanted babies aborted every year, so they never get born because they're inconvenient. And how inconvenient is a loved one on a life support system? So I don't think that it's a far step in the future when we will, it will become more and more acceptable, as has abortion become more and more acceptable. Euthanasia will become more and more acceptable. And in fact, abortion in some places, as in China, is mandated by law. And how unrealistic is it to expect that there'll come a time when our aging and ill it will become socially acceptable and maybe even mandated by law that they be just erased, terminated, euthanized, because after all, we still got them stored on a zip drive somewhere. This is not intended to be an anti-abortion rant. I don't want to get into that, but I do fear something besides super intelligent and capable robots taking over the world. I fear that a lot less than I do our own reasonable neglect of our family and friends, loved ones, as we replace them with a computer. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, but I think my concerns are quite real. You make up your own mind. Something to think about. And R.I.P. Stephen Hawkin. Just as a little add-on here, what about when we get these personalities in these perfect-bodied androids, and we no longer have use for a human companion? I'd say that men are an endangered species. I guess that probably covers a lot of us too.